Hey, peace, world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. Really quick, sports topic. What's going on here at Penn State. Grown men complaining about hazing that involved players. Some players placing their penis on the buttocks of other players. Come on, Franklin. Like, I just don't know who even participates in stuff like this as a person. As a man, I don't even know how anybody would subject themselves to this type of behavior, that type of treatment. But we'll see what happens more with that as it comes out. Obviously, Penn State with this problem with the sexual abuse of minors and all of that back in the day with Sandusky and under Paterno. Terrible situation, possibly. Two quick boxing notes, and I'm gonna get out of here. That's Bite Down Boxing. Please check out my this week's article up at roundbyroundboxing.com. Just a few thoughts out there about Saturday's first PBC on Fox card featuring Julian Williams and Jason Rosario. I'm about to say Rosario Dawson, the actress. And then just a quick thought on that, and then the numbers for the viewing numbers that were reported for the Shields fight, Claressa Shields and Ivana Habazine from this past Saturday. Starting with that, the numbers came in under 300K. I think 288. Did they say? I think the average might have been like 150. Was it 155? Or was that another? Anyway, the average was I believe 288 was what was reported. We're in the middle of a very competitive, NFL playoff season. That's one. And you're getting those two games. I think the game started. Didn't the game start late this weekend? So this Saturday. So you had people, after watching over 6 hours of football, expecting them to come back and check out, to continue to give away their Saturday to sports. That might have been a part of the reason. Despite the fact that the opening fight ended up being a very entertaining fight, unexpectedly, with Elin Cederroos and Alicia Napoleon Espinosa. But I guess just looking at the business of Claressa Shields and what Salida Promotions and what Showtime are trying to do with her, Habazine, like, where did she come from? What did we know about her? Do we care about her? Was there any, at least with Hammer, there was some time built, some time invested in building her, and building into that fight, which we saw here. That's why Napoleon Espinosa was on this show to kind of plant the seed that she could be a future opponent. That will not happen now that she lost. And then, was there some fatigue or did disinterest set in on this matchup based on the fact there were two postponements? And then how the second postponement happened. So, did it negatively, impact the interest in this? I don't know. Two things to move on. Did we get some new rivals for Claressa Shields that are easier sales? Cederroos or even Jimenez over there, Alejandra Jimenez from the female that was on that beat Franchon Cruz DeZern. If they don't have a rematch, is it a chance for her to drop down to 160 and and she called Shields out. Cederroos said she needed more time, being that she's newer to the sport. So. That was kind of that. it's gonna, I feel like personally, I feel like that we're getting the same story. That's in terms of the fights that are being presented to us for Claressa Shields, vacant titles, some European that we haven't heard of, we have no real familiarity with. It's kind of asking a lot of people. So hopefully some natural rivalries kind of come out of materialize. Hopefully. We'll see. Raquel Miller was adamant that she's waiting on the call now. I think money has been part of the issue with her. Napoleon Espinosa mentioned that she hadn't been offered the right kind of money, to face Claressa Shields. So, do these TV numbers, does that hurt more money being granted to Salita to go out and get an opponent for Claressa? Or, is that relationship even continuing on? We don't know at this point. Quick note on this heavyweight championship, Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. I'm not a big press conference guy. I try to watch, I look for certain things and I keep it moving. But I did think, while it may have sounded foolish for Tyson to come out and say, and promise a 2-round knockout, a second-round knockout. It sounds over the top and unbelievable, especially based on his track record with power. But I do think one thing that some consideration should be given to, I do think he's on the right track in terms of no fighter can really just sit back and box and kind of box comfortably and try to just make it to the cards. I do think the key component of any strategy against Deontay Wilder is going to be, you have to land some significant shots early and often to while he's downloading this information and calculating his point of attack, in his 2 seconds where he has to be great. While all of that's happening, you need to, fighters, opponents or challengers need to accumulate some amount of damage on him so that right hand is not that lethal, or so that he's not able to, because when you're dealing with the margin, when that's your strategy, the margin of error or the degree of difficulty, maybe the combination of that, the degree of difficulty and the margin of error is such that you got to be able to pull it off. So if he's not all the way there, like I said, if he's been punished a little bit, if the total amount of punishment is such that he can't be that precise, or maybe his agility, the setup for all of that is a bit off, or maybe he just doesn't have the full power because he's been beat on a little bit or broken down a little bit. That's kind of the factors that an opponent is going to have to create. To just sit there boxing outside, outwitting him, out executing him, I don't think that alone is going to get it done. So, like I said, I don't think he can. Obviously, I don't think he can knock Deontay out in 2 rounds. But he is probably encouraged that in the fact that he hurt Deontay Wilder once or twice in that first fight, definitely once, and he probably just thinks. And it's also to sell the fight. But I do think he realizes that trying to box all night is just gonna lead to a similar situation that we saw, where Deontay has his power. He carries his power late, and he's a huge threat. So you need to do something to try to neutralize that, besides just pot shotting and jab and boxing and dancing all night. It's gonna be, you're gonna need to put some leather on it. So anyway, let me get on out of here, man. Thanks for pressing play. Like I said, consider subscribing to the channel. If you dug anything that I was talking about, please hit that like button. And until next time, man, let me get on out of here. Bite down boxing. Don't let them count you out. Peace.